Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys again for what I believe this is the 11th episode in season 1 that I'm creating. Almost like a format like the Netflix, Hulu, or whatever. But I think you got to visualize it first, then try to make it happen. But this episode, I'm talking about myself as the coach. I've been doing some talking about the players, and now I'm talking about myself as the coach to show you that we're all human, we're people. And I would never want to be put up on a pedestal, and I don't think I am, and I hope that I never will. So, just a regular dude that likes to get things accomplished, see if we can laugh and joke and have fun while we win. So, to my players, this episode is about me and my coaching my playing as a player. Real quick, I'm gonna try to summarize it. When I was in high school, when I was a youngster, when I started my football career, I was maybe 9, 10 or something like that, 8 or 9. I went out there and tried to play, and I was scared. And I ran to my mother, and my mother told me, you don't have to go back out there no more. And I didn't for a while. My cousin stayed out there. I didn't. And they had me playing on the defensive line or something like that as well. So I didn't like it playing up close. As destiny would have it later, maybe I was completely out of position, and that's why I felt bad. But nonetheless, I got to high school, and when I was in high school, I didn't play my initial year because my grades was bad. I went out for the football team as a sophomore, and my grades was bad. I did the whole winter workout, everything you were supposed to do, and I still didn't qualify academically for the time frame that I was supposed to so that I could play next fall. So by the time my junior year came, I was able to be on a team. There was already people who they looked at, who had been in the system, who was higher than me. So to make a very long story short, for my junior and senior year, I sat on the bench. And I didn't play hardly at all. Maybe every now and then, every blue moon, some kickoffs or something like that. I would practice hard. I played cornerback in practice. And I took pride. I learned to hone my skills. And I didn't say much. I wanted to be more of a factor. And I wasn't. And as a grown man now, I won't blame the coaching staff. I won't blame anybody else. It just wasn't meant to be at that point. But through the blessings of God, I feel like my skill set improved. I've done a video recently called the Late Bloomer, and I blossomed right after I got out of high school. And my cousin was going to a junior college in Minnesota. And I decided to try to follow him. I said, I'm going to go with you, cuz, if that's all right. And I tried to ride on his coattail. He was an excellent running back. My cousin Dave Brown, excellent running back. Big, strong, fast. One of my heroes and one of my favorite players that ever played for Shaw High School. So I went to college with him, and my freshman year, I ended up, let me say this, my cousin ended up leaving, and our buddy Chris, we all came up there, God bless Chris in heaven, he transcended, but all three of us packed our stuff, and we went to Minnesota. We rode on a bus with cardboard boxes for 18 hours. Symbolic to what Bone Thugs and Harmony did when they went to California on a one-way trip on a bus ride. Their trip was a lot farther though, obviously. But we did travel 18 hours on a bus. I was maybe 18. I'm a summer kid, so I didn't turn 18 I had already graduated from high school. I know my daughter is the same way. We didn't graduate until we were 17, and we didn't turn 18 until the summer. So I was 17, and I just decided it's time to go. And my mother and my sister, who are my backbone, my total support, who were all I had at that stage. I depended on them for everything. And they gave me the support that was necessary, and we went. When I first got there, I was disappointed because my cousin left or had to leave, and me and Chris stayed. And I got dressed and I played, started at corner. I had the jersey number 10 on at that point, jersey number 10. And we played this school called North Dakota State School of Science, and it was a big program. It was the biggest, first time I'd ever been a starter, and I was intimidated, I was afraid, I was scared and everything else. But I still went out there and did what I was supposed to do, and we lost. So I lost my first college career game. And I remember one play vividly. I was covering a guy, a little slot receiver. He had number 5, very fast. You know, I'm about 6 feet, almost 6'1". I probably was about 193 like I am now. So almost 200 pounds, and that's about my size. And I've been this way. And I can run like a deer and all of that. But this guy got into his route, a little crossing route, and he got in front of me. But the thing is, they threw the pass to somebody else coming across in the other direction. So they ran crisscross routes. I saw the ball being thrown. I tried to reroute myself to turn to pick off my other corner, Mike Springer, 23, shout out to Bingo. His guy was coming across, and this is just a positive for both of us. But the guy caught the pass going full speed across. I tried to turn, and when I went to turn up, one of the receivers on that side of the field had already went down, and he came back and he blocked me and knocked me clean out of bounds. And I went into the North Dakota State sideline. And I just got up enough to see the guy jogging down the sideline with his index finger up in the air, and the crowd was going crazy because we played on the road. So that was my first college experience. I got up and, you know, they was giving me the blues on the sideline over there. And I played in 1992, which is a very long time ago. Yes, it was color TV. Yes, I played with black cleats on with white spat. Yes, I was looking nice. Wristbands and all that stuff. Yes. Punt returner. And 2 games in, I tore my hamstring. So I was sidelined, and I didn't play anymore that year. I wanted to play for sure against this school called Hibbing. Hibbing had a young man who ended up going to the National Football League and playing for the Raiders. Johnny, oh man, I'm gonna have to ask Bingo. Johnny somebody, but he played for the Raiders. He was in the tuck game against Tom Brady. But anyway, I didn't play against Hibbing, and it was a shootout, and they beat us. They beat our team, and we won the rest of the games for the most part, with Tony DeLeon at quarterback and Mike Williams playing wide receiver. And, so I was laid up for a while, and this when I really became in tune with my Bible. I was away from my mom and my sister. My hamstring is tore, my leg is lifted up in the air in my place that I stayed at, and I had nothing but time to read my Bible. And so that's what I did. I just read my text, and I got real familiar with the Bible, and I learned a lot of things about God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, Genesis, all the way through into Revelations. And I was using the knowledge that I had from Omega Baptist Church in East Cleveland, which is where I got baptized and was raised at. So I was using that As all of my sources, I was drawing as much power as I could. I cried every day, disappointed because my hamstring was tore. But the blessing of God, I ended up being able to redshirt, and they didn't count that first year against me. So that would have been, I guess, technically the 91, 92 season. So by 92, I would have been a sophomore, a 19-year-old. But it was listed as my freshman year. Anyway, I had vowed, because I had missed the time, that I was like a caged bull. And once I got a chance to get out and get at them, there was not going to be any return. I wasn't going to let my mother and my sister down. They never got a chance to see me play in Minnesota, but I talked to my mother before every single game I've ever played. Called my mother the night before, talked to her. She would always give me these positive words of encouragement. I would always use it as a method, technique to empower myself, and almost like a power pack being built up, I felt the strength come. I just didn't want to let them two down. I didn't, not at all. I always wanted to be able to come back and let them be proud of me. And I'm glad to say, even at this day, at 50 years old, they still are. Thank God that they're still around. But, so throughout my season, my freshman season, we went 10-0, and we won the state championship. And I was a lockdown corner. I never, in my college career, not until I got to Bowling Green State University, did I ever even give up a touchdown. One time I was almost beat for a touchdown. A guy ran a stop and go. I think it was North Hennepin or somebody we was playing. Ran like a stop and go, and he got me. I went to grab his jersey, and I missed. So I was going to try to take the penalty. So he ran a vert after that, and I was like, oh no, I'm in trouble. And I can run fast, so I just put my head down, I ran. I could hear the crowd cheering, and the guy was slowing down, so the ball was not well thrown, but he was probably under pressure. With Duke Cornelius Green, God bless your soul, and we sometimes, Dave Martin, our free safety, they would blitz and whatnot and putting pressure on up front. So the quarterback, I know, didn't have a whole lot of time. So he launched it, and it was their lucky day because their lottery ticket got cashed in, almost. The guy made the catch over his shoulder, but he had to slow down. And when he slowed down, I was able to catch up, and I clipped his ankles and his heels and his cleats, and he fell down on the 2-yard line. And I laid there for a second. I said, whew. I heard the crowd cheering, but I was so glad that I didn't give up that touchdown. I didn't want to. They scored, 2-yard plunge, they pushed it in, but I didn't want them to get me on a vertical like that. Other than that, a couple of out routes that they caught, and I was centimeters away from catching those, but I ended up getting a reputation. And the reputation that I got in the 10 games that I played that season, I got 8 interceptions. So I ended up being a pickoff machine. I would apex receivers, 2 receivers. I would split them. Down the middle is what apexing is. I would split them, and I would back pedal, and then I would sit. Sometimes I would sit and back pedal, and I would break on anything. I would break on it. Because the pressure was tremendous up front, he didn't have a whole lot of time. So if he threw a go route, I might already just quickly flipped into bail technique and ran that thing down. Sometimes they would throw him thinking they got him out of bounds, and I would be able to high point that thing, catch it, and get 1 foot down. That's all you needed in college. But sometimes I'd be able to get 2 just to try to show off. 8 interceptions my freshman year, won a state championship. I was so glad and thankful. I said, wow, man, my first year really playing, and I'm already a champion. And that became a part of my bloodstream for the rest of my life, how I even got to this point, to coaching like I do now. I'm a champion. My last name is Goodwin, and the good always win. which is my brand. And I was bred this way because I didn't want to disappoint my mother and my sister. They was proud of me, but they didn't really know much about football. So they were just, yeah, good job, we're proud of you. They didn't really know exactly all the things that I was actually accomplishing. And one of the big things that when I told them, I said, hey, I got an ICU letter from the University of Wisconsin. Barry Switzer was the head coach there. I was so excited that a Big Ten school up north was interested in my talents at all. Never made it to Wisconsin, but I was real thankful and excited that I got a letter. It doesn't always work out, it don't always pan out. It is what it is. So I collected my wins, and I was acknowledged, for being one of the best defensive backs in the conference. And I was on the charts as one of the top ranked interceptors in the national junior college football season in 1992. And then in 1993, which was my sophomore year, we didn't win a championship. We lost one game. And in the championship game, let me say this, I forgot. I got 2 interceptions in a championship game. Very cold outside, frigid weather, snow was everywhere. We was up in Minnesota. I don't know if y'all have ever been there, but it's cold. The pipes and stuff freeze. The ground was frozen. I lost the footage. I wish I still had it. I lost the footage. And that sounds like a sad story. Somebody probably got it. But anyway, one of the interceptions that I got, I stepped in front of a pass, an out route that was thrown lazy. Or maybe, again, he was under pressure. So that thing floated like a dove for a few seconds, and I picked it off. And I was back for a punt because I was a punt returner as well. So I was back for a punt, and the guy ran a fake. And I saw the guy streaking up the sideline who he's going to throw it to. I was able to cover probably about 30 yards in a matter of a second or two. I snatched this thing out of the air. You can see it on the film. Plucked this thing out of the sky and glided 65 yards untouched for a touchdown. I ran about 40-something of them with my index finger in the air and 3 guys chasing me. But I knew I was gone. We ended up winning something like 55-10 for the championship. Vermilion was the community college that I went to. If anybody want to do any research, Vermilion Community College was where I went. And so my sophomore year I had 8 interceptions again, so 16 interceptions total. And I was acknowledged as all conference, the best defensive player in the conference, and acknowledged that. So I'm gonna get ready to stop this episode here. But I just wanted to shine some of that on you guys about my history, a little bit of just when I was at junior college. I got a Bowling Green experience that I'll speak about a little bit later, which went well too, how I really began to become a complete player as well as developing these coaching skills. But right now, I want to go real quick and talk about the tight end position. X's and O's. For all my people that don't know anything about football, tight end is also considered almost like the 6th lineman. He's pressed up against the line. Sometimes he flexes out. And he is a staple for the run game and also the little short hitch routes on the inside. Ozzie Newsome was a really great tight end who played for the Cleveland Browns in the 80s, early 90s and whatnot. Was an expert at catching a little small hitch route, turning it up or whatever, getting as many yards as necessary. But a tight end can run seam routes going vertical. They're usually the big guy. For me personally, I'm going to say this out loud. No offense against wide receivers. No offense against running backs. No offense against anybody who think they're a player. I love throwing the football to tight ends as offensive coordinator. Because these guys are very big. These guys are tough. These guys can catch. These guys can run. Why not? And the defense is afraid to tackle them. So kudos to the tight end, who is one of my favorite people to throw the ball to at all. Totally. So I got a big banner, a flag that I wave, and it got the word tight end on it because that's who I love. So I'm an offensive coordinator, so you guys get ready, get geared up. I love to throw the ball. But that gets established through the running game. So this was a long episode, a long one, but I just want to give y'all some information about myself. It went further than what I wanted to do. But this is the best coach. I love you guys. Y'all stay strong.